Hello, awesome humans in the world! Hey, so loads of people were asking me, hey, how do I ignore the 3D? Okay? Well, I'm going to actually give you a different perspective on this than most people do out there, okay? We are going to turn ignoring into a technique, and we're going to talk about how to make this into a practical skill set, okay? But here's the first thing, okay? I don't like the word 3D, okay? This is just a stage world. I love stages, I love acting, I'm an actor, and so on and so forth, right? So for me, the stage world means, though, that there's a level of rehearsal going on. So I'm rehearsing, right? I'm rehearsing the old beliefs. I'm rehearsing the old story, okay? But that means that there is a lag time that's happening in the stage world, okay? And that means, again, that's 3D, that's reality, whatever you want to call it, okay? And so there's a lag time that sometimes when you're manifesting, right, or when you're changing, because that's what manifesting is, okay, when you're becoming the new person with the new story who has the object or the person in their life, right, that they want, because this is about becoming, okay, not about having. There's two very different things. Go check out my video on that one, where I tease out the difference between becoming and having, okay? But this is all about becoming. That means there is a character you're playing, okay? But that doesn't mean that this world is fiction. That doesn't mean it's false, okay? So let me tell you why I say it that way. And this is very different from almost everybody who reads Neville's work, okay? And I think it could be very, very helpful to you. And when I say it's not false, it means that there's always an origin to what you are experiencing. And for you, you think whatever it is that you've accepted is what? True. That's why I say, even though this stage world is fictional, just like any stage world, right, upon which you act, is a form of fiction, and you're playing the role, and you're playing it as if it's real, right? And as somebody who's also an improv artist, right, I get that you're playing with what we call reality, but really is just a stage. But it's a stage that's showing you things about how you perceive what you perceive and the meaning that you give behind it and how you're living out that meaning in your daily life and mentally and psychologically, right? And how the beliefs that you've accepted are forming your behaviors. The beliefs that you've accepted are not only forming your behaviors, but how others treat you and how even you might look at an object depending upon the mood that you're in. Okay? So again, remember, it is fiction, it is not false, because it's always pointing to a true belief that you think is true. Okay? So do you get that? It's not even that a belief is true or false, but that you believe it's true. And so again, you are not meant to hate the 3D or the stage world, right? Why? Because think about this. This is where everything's manifesting. Why hate your life? That's really yet another way. So I really don't like this idea that when people say ignore the 3D, it's almost like there's like separate yourself from it, or like hate it, or like fuck the 3D, or whatever it is. No, completely wrong. I mean, if we believe what we believe and that God or this essence or this whatever science or evolution, whatever created what we call the stage world, right? Whatever nickname you want to give it, right? Is somehow thinking it's important enough for us to actually use it as a way to manifest. So why would I want to hate it? So ignoring does not mean hate. Ignoring does not mean getting angry at it. Ignoring doesn't mean separate myself from it. In fact, in the Bible, there's some esoteric mystical language about being in the world but not of it. Okay? What that means is, and the word of is really where we get the idea of being birthed from, right? Being in the world means being in here. The word in Hebrew for in across all of scriptures means within, which means within your mind, okay? Within your imaginary scenes, within your imagination, how you're giving meaning to reality, okay? Are you with me? But then of means don't be birthed out of the stage world. What that means is do not find your origins in what you see, taste, touch, hear, and feel, okay? Are you with me? So that means do not go to the point where you think that everything you see, taste, touch, hear, and feel is true. Right? So again, that is very key. Okay, so that's how you begin the process of ignoring. You actually remove the power and influence of the five senses. Okay? And then you go in and you amplify the five senses. right? So these are your inner senses, and you de-amplify or you de-emphasize the role of the five senses in this world. Okay, those will create what's referred to as reason. This is why Neville says abandon reason. Okay, right? And so he's not saying lose your shit or go crazy. What he's saying is stop creating links and coherence and correspondence and links where there aren't any, especially if they're links that don't serve you, right? So don't keep looking at your situation and saying, well, this is happening because of this, and this happened because of that, and this happened because of that, right? Because then you're creating a stage world where you're only going to experience that. So again, not only so part of ignoring is removing the temptations of only relying on your senses, and then secondary, the temptation of still relying upon correspondences or creating links between ideas that don't exist anymore because you don't want to experience that anymore. So you have to de-emphasize. So ignoring the 3D does not mean hate it. It means de-emphasize it. Stop saying and blowing it up, right? Stop talking about it as if it's the biggest thing that ever was, okay? Because everything that is coming into this world is from our mind. The way that we perceive things, there's an energy behind our perception, and that energy is inventive and creates. Okay? And so what that means is that when we want to create something else, we have to begin creating something that's stronger, more impactful, more feeling based, right? And generated out of the feelings of strong desire to change, okay? So you have to want to change as well. So ignoring isn't enough to just ignore. You have to want to change with a strong, compelling story, and you repeat it enough that you begin becoming the character on this stage world, and you have fun and you enjoy life and it's adventurous. But remember, the key here as well is that you have to get out ahead of it. What does that mean? You feel that you have it now before it happens. So again, right? Sometimes when you watch a stage play, people are showing more feelings than they are saying things, right? Why? Because that's the key. You feel their emotions. You feel how they're interpreting things, okay? The same technique, right? You feel ahead of what you desire. And that's how you begin loving and falling in love with a stage world, right? You do not have to hate it. You don't have to wait till you go to heaven. You don't have to separate from it, right? That's not what is being said. What you're learning is that there's a link between your mind and the stage world. And so you begin to de-emphasize its role in the creation process, right? It's only there to show you what you believe and what you've accepted as true, right? So there's more to this. I'm going to probably do a workshop on this, but I wanted to give you, loads of value in this. So again, get in touch if you're looking for coaching. Hope this was helpful. Share this with at least one person below, and I will talk to you soon, awesome people.